Plus, active military, veterans, and first responders may qualify for $1,000 more in appreciation cash.
Good morning, America. This morning, Mueller meeting. A source telling ABC News that fired FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe was interviewed by the special counsel's team, handing over notes of his conversations with Donald Trump. The president's Twitter tirade with his legal team calling for Robert Mueller to get the axe.
Breaking overnight, the teenager found, a 16-year-old from Pennsylvania, missing for nearly 2 weeks, located in Mexico with a married father of 4 now in custody.
Kevin could not stay away from Amy.
The alarming new details about their relationship from his wife's attorney.
Removing the wreckage, all victims now believed to be recovered in the Florida bridge collapse.
We're pretty confident that no one's left.
Some bodies entombed in crushed cars. The new details about those who lost their lives and the latest on the investigation.
And buzzer beaters and bracket busters, Michigan's Hail Mary to triumph over Houston. Loyola Chicago knocking off Tennessee, their 98-year-old Lucky Charm ever confident.
I told them we were going to win.
With UMBC ready to prove today they are more than a one-win wonder.
Live from ABC News in New York, this is Good Morning America.
Good morning, everyone. I'm not sure about you guys. I did not get any sleep last night. I was up entirely too late watching March Madness.
Of course you were.
Am I the only one?
Yes, I was staying up for other reasons.
So
but congratulations.
I'm so not surprised. Were you trolling players you don't like? Was that what you're doing on Twitter?
Everybody is talking about this upset by Loyola Chicago. The teammates were giving the credit to their 6th man, who just happens to be a 98-year-old woman. Sister Jean, I love her. She's apparently got some connections to the big man above. She told the guys, I knew we were going to win, and we want you to look at this meme burning up the internet overnight. Sister Jean into that wheelchair with some ups. We got much more coming up from ESPN.
That picture has been manipulated, just to be clear.
No, she's flying. She's an angel.
No, but my 8-year-old legitimately asked, is that a real picture? No, son.
The dangers of the internet.
Yes.
Much more to come on that, but we're going to start here with the extraordinary and intensifying battle between the Trump administration and the FBI. So many new developments this morning. We're now learning that the former deputy FBI director, Andrew McCabe, who was fired on Friday night, kept detailed notes of his interactions with the president and has handed those notes over to the special counsel, Robert Mueller. Meantime,
McCabe's one-time boss, former FBI Director James Comey, who was also fired by Trump, coming out in defense of McCabe. All of this as the president's lawyer publicly calls on the Department of Justice to shut down the Russia probe, with the president appearing to back him up on Twitter.
As we said, a lot going on. George Stephanopoulos standing by, but we're going to start here with ABC's Tara Palmieri, who's in Washington. Tara, good morning to you.
Good morning, Dan and Paula. That's right. President Trump unleashed some of his toughest attacks against the Russia investigation. For the first time on Twitter, he referred to special counsel Robert Mueller by name, leading many to wonder if he'll go a step further and fire Mueller. President Trump's legal team seizing on the firing of Deputy FBI Director Andrew McCabe to make the case for shutting down the Russia investigation. Just hours after Attorney General Jeff Sessions axed the FBI's former number 2, the president's lead attorney John Dowd called on Sessions' deputy Rod Rosenstein to follow his boss's, quote, brilliant and courageous example and fire Robert Mueller. And the president following up with his own taunts.
There's been no collusion between us and the Russians.
There was absolutely no collusion.
There is absolutely no collusion.
Firing off a tirade of tweets overnight. The Mueller probe should have never been started, attacking not just McCabe but the entire Justice Department. How many lies, how many leaks? Comey knew it all and much more. There was tremendous lying, leaking, and corruption at the highest levels of the FBI, Justice, and state.
We are on the brink of a very ugly constitutional crisis if this continues and the president seizes this moment to fire either Rod Rosenstein or Bob Mueller himself.
President Trump became fixated with McCabe's connection to the Clintons.
This man's sterling career up to the point that he'd gotten involved with his wife taking money from the Clinton sources. That was really the beginning of the end for him in this tragedy.
But McCabe isn't going out without a fight. A source told ABC News McCabe was interviewed by special counsel Robert Mueller's team in the Russia probe. And like fired FBI Director James Comey, McCabe kept detailed notes of his conversations with the president and then turned them over as evidence. McCabe was fired Friday night ahead of the release of an Inspector General report that accuses him of improperly speaking to a reporter about the Clinton email investigation and then misleading investigators when asked about it. McCabe denies any wrongdoing. He called the attacks, quote, an ongoing assault on his credibility in the Russia investigation. A string of heavyweight former law enforcement and intelligence officials coming to McCabe's defense and taking on the president. Former CIA Director John Brennan tweeted at the president, "You will take your rightful place as a disgraced demagogue in the dustbin of history. You may scapegoat Andy McCabe, but you will not destroy America." President Trump has criticized McCabe for being a staunch ally of James Comey, referring to him as Comey's choir boy. But Comey was quick to respond, tweeting that his new book will give a full account of what happened so that people can decide for themselves, quote, who is honorable and who is not. Dan, Paula?
And of course, his first interview will be granted to our George Stephanopoulos, who's going to be standing by to talk to us in just a moment.
He's got something to say, huh?
He does have something to say.
Got
George is right here on the set. Before we get to George, though, Tara, I want to thank you, but we do have another political headline this morning. Facebook has suspended a British company, a data company that was used by Team Trump during the 2016 campaign.
That's after the company called Cambridge Analytica reportedly breached the profiles of tens of millions of users without their permission. ABC's Kenneth Moten is on the story for us this morning. Kenneth, good morning to you.
Good morning, Paula and Dan. Cambridge Analytica is defending itself this morning. The data analysis firm tied to President Trump's 2016 campaign is under investigation by Facebook, accused of mishandling information about more than 50 million users. The London-based company, which uses data to build psychological profiles and influence voters, was hired by former Trump chief strategist Steve Bannon during the election. But a new report from the New York Times suggests some of the data the company uses to create its profiles was provided to them against Facebook guidelines. Cambridge Analytica denies any wrongdoing, saying it deleted all of the data after it realized it was improperly passed on by a third party. The firm says it never even used the information for its client, the Trump campaign. Now, the campaign also denies using the firm's data, saying instead that it relied on information from the Republican National Committee, saying, quote, any claims that voter data were used from another source to support the victory in 2016 are false. But 50 million is a big number, so Facebook appears to be taking this pretty seriously, Dan and Paula.
In fact, Kenneth, Facebook is now saying they've temporarily suspended the company from posting any ads. What can you tell us about that?
That's right, Dan. Facebook says it received reports that not all of the improperly handled data was deleted, so Cambridge Analytica has been suspended and blocked from posting Facebook ads during this investigation. The social media giant called the allegations a, quote, unacceptable violation of trust and is threatening legal action for any unlawful behavior. Dan and Paula.
All right, Kenneth, thank you for your reporting this morning. As we said, our chief anchor, George Stephanopoulos, is standing by. He's going to be hosting this week a little bit later this morning. Good morning to you, George. So let's start out with Andrew McCabe, the former deputy FBI director. He appears to be an important cog in the Russia investigation, but is he not tainted as well by recent revelations? We learned his senior advisor, who was investigating Trump, was sending anti-Trump messages, and also the fact that the FBI's own Office of Professional Responsibility recommended his firing.
Well, you're mixing up a lot of different things there. There's two big strikes against Andrew McCabe. Number one, the Inspector General faulted him for lack of candor, and the firing was recommended by veteran FBI officials. That's set against the backdrop of an entire process that's been politicized by the president, calling for several months for Andrew McCabe to be fired, interfering in an FBI process, which is highly unusual. Those messages you're talking about are actually private text messages, which probably should have never been leaked in the first place. And there are also anti-Clinton and anti-politician messages wrapped up in that as well. So I think that's separate from Andrew McCabe. But he is a key witness here in the entire Mueller investigation. We now know that he's turned over notes to Mueller. He has potentially information that could back up James Comey's stories about the firing of James Comey, the potential firing and interference with Michael Flynn. So he is a key witness, and you have to ask the question, is President Trump trying to taint him as a witness in the Mueller investigation?
Well, he does have some powerful allies. As we reported earlier, John Brennan, the former head of the CIA, had some extraordinarily strong words after the firing of McCabe. We can put up his tweet. He tweeted, when the full extent, and this is him speaking to the president here, when the full extent of your venality, moral turpitude, and political corruption becomes known, you will take your rightful place as a disgraced demagogue in the dustbin of history. Does this, to your ears, intimate that Brennan has some sort of inside information?
It certainly intimates it, but I don't know for a fact. I mean, none of us can get inside John Brennan's head right there. He was the CIA director. He obviously knew a lot about Russian interference in our elections. What he may or may not know about President Trump's involvement in that, I don't know the answer to that. But yeah, those are incredibly strong words from a former CIA director right there.
This situation, though, just to be clear, not normal to be having this kind of sniping at the highest level.
Nothing about this is normal at all. And now for the president to be suggesting, and his lawyer to be suggesting, that Robert Mueller investigation should just be shut down, that is going to be a 10-alarm fire if that happens. You've already seen senior Republicans warn that if President Trump tries to shut down this investigation, they will move to protect Mueller. That would be a red line they don't think should be crossed. Now, is the president really willing to go there, or is this just more bluster? We don't know the answer to that yet, but we do know that is a huge red line.
George, thank you very much. And a reminder, George has a big show on this Sunday morning with much more on the fallout over McCabe's firing and the latest on the Mueller investigation. He's going to go one-on-one with these two gentlemen, Intelligence Committee members, Senator James Lankford and Congressman Adam Schiff.
We need a timeline and a flow chart for all of this, plus the powerhouse roundtable debates what the special election win in Pennsylvania means for Democrats, chances of retaking the House in November when they're trying to flip over 20 seats. That's coming up on This Week right here on ABC with George. Thanks again, George. Good. And we do want to move on now from politics to the breaking news in the case of the missing Pennsylvania teenager who has been found in Mexico this morning. She's safely back here in the U.S.
And the 45-year-old man she's been with, well, he is now in custody, and ABC's Ariel Reshef has been following this story for us and is back again this morning. Ariel, good morning.
Good morning, Dan and Paula. Relief this morning after a harrowing ordeal. This teenager now safe. International law enforcement descending on a resort town in Mexico, discovering that pair. Now new clues about what may have led up to their disappearance.
This morning, this Pennsylvania teen is back in the U.S. after nearly 2 weeks on the run with this married father of 4. 16-year-old Amy Yu and 45-year-old Kevin Esterly, the subject of an Amber Alert in Mexico and cross-border manhunt, located Saturday morning in Playa del Carmen. Authorities confirming Amy is unharmed and in good health. Esterly led away in handcuffs, now awaiting formal extradition to face charges. This as alarming new details emerge about the relationship between Esterly and the teen. His wife, Stacy, speaking through her attorney, telling ABC News she saw red flags months before the pair vanished.
It grew to be a situation where Kevin was taking Amy out of school on a regular basis, pretending to be a father figure, but it was more than that. They fought daily about Amy.
Stacy's lawyer claiming his client repeatedly confronted her husband and tried to warn the girl's family. Amy's mother reporting Esterly to police, who advised both him and Stacy to stay away from the teen.
There was an agreement that there would be no contact between Kevin and Amy. That didn't last. It didn't even last 24 hours. Kevin could not stay away from Amy.
Stacy telling police the morning her husband disappeared, he drained $4,000 from their joint bank account. Amy's mother saying she stole money and jewelry.
I don't care. I just hope you come back.
Now, thankful a nightmare is over.
We're told Amy is now home in Pennsylvania. Esterly faces a third-degree felony charge of interfering with the custody of a minor. Allentown police will now lead this investigation. As for Esterly's wife, her attorney tells us that she will fight for custody of those 4 little girls and that she plans to file for divorce.
That sounds like she has some standing in that case. Very happy for the family. Thank you very much for your coverage of this story, Ariel. We're going to go to Miami now, where emergency crews digging through the wreckage of that collapsed pedestrian bridge now say that they have recovered all 6 victims.
ABC's Victor Oquendo is in Miami, where we're learning more about the victims as their outraged and heartbroken family members step forward. Victor, good morning.
Good morning, Paula and Dan. Some of those families had been holding out hope, but receiving that heartbreaking confirmation their loved ones had died. The crews here worked around the clock to recover all of the victims, saying they only took breaks for moments of silence as they were pulled from the rubble. At this point, though, they say they don't expect to recover any more bodies from the wreckage.
Overnight, crews recovering the 2 remaining victims left underneath the debris.
So this tragedy ends with a total of 6. We're going to go once again and make sure that there's nobody else down there, but we're pretty confident that no one's left.
The demolished vehicles flattened under the 950-ton bridge, pulled out of the wreckage Saturday. A delicate process with bodies still inside some of them. They were escorted to the medical examiner's office. Police saying the identification process might require DNA testing or fingerprinting. Among the dead, 18-year-old FIU freshman Alexa Duran, driving with her friend who was able to escape the car. One of the 6 pulled out Saturday.
I had to break this thing into little pieces to get it off of my knees.
60-year-old Rolando Fraga's family hadn't heard from him since before the collapse. His nephew holding out hope.
What has this been like for you and your family, not knowing?
Terrible, because we don't know anything. And I call every now and then. I call the center, and they just tell me, they're waiting, and we don't know anything.
Later learning Rolando was in this Jeep Cherokee and he died. Police also confirming 53-year-old Alberto Arias and 57-year-old Oswald Gonzalez were inside another car they retrieved.
They were great at everything that they did. They were very giving and very outgoing, happy.
Meanwhile, the investigation into the collapse is ongoing and the NTSB is still on site.
Let there be no doubt, they will know why this failed, and they will make sure that that is out there so it never happens again.
Now the work here shifts to the investigation, the recovery of evidence, and the cleanup. The NTSB will be out here for about a week as they work to figure out exactly what went wrong. Dan, Paula?
The big question, Victor, thank you. There is a major presidential election overseas today in Russia, and the results, pretty much a foregone conclusion. Vladimir Putin will almost certainly win a 4th term in office.
Putin's already cast his vote, but what's making news is the finger pointing at the Kremlin over the poisoning of a former spy and his daughter in the UK. ABC's Terry Moran in Moscow for us again this morning. Terry, good morning to you.
Good morning, guys. A beautiful election day here in Moscow. The voting's actually already begun across this vast country's 11 time zones. And Russians go to the polls today with their government facing more suspicion around the world, more sanctions, and more economic challenges ahead. But for all that, they tell pollsters this country's going on the right track under Vladimir Putin.
This morning, Putin casting his ballot in Moscow, a shoo-in to win his 4th term, extending his rule over Russia. We visited the polling station on Moscow's outskirts. Cameras in every precinct, anti-voter fraud measures were told, and lots of support for Putin.
Who did you vote for?
I voted for our current president, Vladimir Putin, she tells us. He guarantees us peace, a good life. The voting coming against a darkening backdrop of the investigation in Britain into the nerve agent poisoning of a former Russian spy. Sources tell ABC News British officials now have a clearer picture of just how former double agent Sergei Skripal and his daughter were exposed to the poison. They believe the military-grade nerve toxin was used in a dust-like powdered form that had circulated through the ventilation system of Skripal's BMW. Scotland Yard releasing this surveillance video and asking anyone who saw the car that day to come forward. Another possible clue? Sources also tell ABC News that Skripal was shouting and acting incoherently in a restaurant just before he and his daughter collapsed, symptoms consistent with the early stages of exposure to a nerve agent.
We will never tolerate a threat to the life of British citizens and others on British soil from the Russian government.
Russia still vehemently denying the accusations that it was behind the attack, expelling 23 British diplomats and shutting down a consulate.
We know for sure that it is not us, and we know for sure that in that case, the real criminals, they are still out.
Russians, by and large, just don't believe these accusations. They say the whole attack doesn't make any sense. They are also being told a very different story. The foreign ministry not only denying the charges against Russia, but pointing the finger at other countries, the U.S., the UK, the Czech Republic, Slovakia, and Sweden. Dan and Paula?
Hard to overstate the power of state media in Russia. People there tend to believe what the government is telling them.
They
Terry,
do, yeah. And as you pointed out yesterday, Putin is extraordinarily popular.
super popular. Terry, thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Terry. And it is time now for the weather, our favorite time of the morning. Sam Champion once again in for Rob Marciano. Do you have some good news in the weather department?
I have some interesting news. Let's stick with that.
Okay.
And I'll find some good news for you along the way. Good morning, everyone. Good Sunday morning. Let's start with some of these pictures of storms. We had intense storms last night, and we'll run again today. 4 states had wind gusts of about 60 miles per hour. We had hail reported that was up to 3.5 inches of hail in a little cluster of storms in Texas. That will light up again today. Here's this morning's radar, and then look where the storms will fire up. This is all the way from Oklahoma, Texas, run it across the deep south. It goes well down into the Florida panhandle. Some of these storms could be strong to severe, and yes, today there could be 1 or 2 pop-up tornadoes in that. Now let's get to the big nor'easter, which is not a nor'easter. It's a coastal storm for Wednesday into Thursday, and let's time it out for you. This is the model that we're running with right now. Watch it pull out, but look at this. Look at that little line of snow that includes southern New Jersey right up to New York City, a little